Hi and welcome back, guys. We got an exciting episode today because today is the day I plant the first crops of the year, and I'm really excited about it. Also, I'm going to talk about the benefits of mulching and my irrigation plan for the year.
It's March 30th, and I started with the cold crops. Today I put in broccoli, kale, lettuce, Swiss chard, carrots, and beets. What you see me planting here is broccoli. Broccoli is a great source of vitamin K and vitamin C. Next up is kale. Kale is an extremely nutrient-dense green. It's also very high in fiber. It's also one of the most cold-hardy plants that I'll grow in my garden this year. That's especially important because this upcoming week is supposed to be pretty cold. I'm planting these crops a few weeks before the date of last frost, so I know it's a risk. But due to some time constraints, I decided to go ahead and do it. Swiss chard is up next. Swiss chard is a great source of vitamins K, A, and C, as well as a great source of potassium, iron, and fiber. Lettuce is a great staple for most gardens, and my garden will be no exception. I like lettuce because it contains many of the same vitamins as the other greens I've mentioned before, but it's not as bitter tasting. I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video, but I also planted spinach. Spinach is great because it's similar to lettuce in nutrition, but it's a little bit more cold hardy. I think if I had to place a bet on which two crops will survive this upcoming week, it's going to be spinach and kale. I used to be the kind of guy that thought flowers were stupid. I thought they were aesthetic and superficial plants that simply took up space in the garden. I've come to learn that my former beliefs were extremely short-sighted and stupid, and now know that flowers have a vast amount of beneficial qualities. For example, here I'm planting marigolds. Marigolds are known to repel aphids, as well as attract beneficial pollinators to your garden. I've also heard that marigold tea has some good health benefits. I guess now is a good time to introduce you to a new member of the family. The wife and I adopted Tim Gunn last week. He goes by Gunny, and I'm sure he'll be making a lot of appearances this season. I planted all my carrots, beets, and radishes from seed this year. Using the square foot gardening method, I can get 16 carrots, 9 beets, and 16 radishes into each square. Just imagine each square as a grid, and then poke holes accordingly. I sprinkled a few seeds into each square to ensure germination, but I'll thin them out later. Onions and garlic were planted in a similar way, except instead of from seed, the onions were planted from sets, and the garlic from cloves. Before you plant garlic, gently break it up into individual cloves. I've made the rookie mistake of planting the whole thing at once in the past. Not very smart.
Alright, so I want to talk about mulch for a minute. Mulch is just any wood chips. They can come from stump grinders. Tree companies will have plenty of leftover wood chips. You can get wood chips at your Home Depot. I'm just using this mulch right here, which is a cedar mulch. The reason why you want to mulch is because it helps keep the soil moist, prevents weeds from germinating. It really helps with labor requirements. It helps keep the temperature of the soil moderate. It's a whole bunch of other things.
Running out of time, so I'm moving on to water. All I did was buy a simple sprinkler from Home Depot, and then screwed that to a piece of wood to keep it from turning over. Messed with the settings a little bit until I found one that covered the whole garden, and that's it. Water for the year. I'll probably add an automatic timer later in the season, but this spring has been pretty rainy, so I haven't even needed the sprinkler at all. That's it for today. Be sure to tune in next week to find out which plants make it through the chilly week.
As always, thanks for watching, and remember, every garden makes a difference.